Today we'll be talking about middleware in Laravel. Middleware is just a mechanism for inspecting and filtering HTTP requests that are entering into our application, right? To understand more about this middleware, let's take an example of post. For example, we have a system that can create, edit, and delete the post, right? Now, what we want to do is we only want the post to be created if the authenticated user age is greater than 18, or else they cannot create the post. Same goes for edit and delete, right? So let's just code it and then hopefully we will understand about the middleware, right? So for that, let me just go to our database, go to our users table, and just add a new column called age because we want the filter according to the age. So let me have age, type int is fine. I'm gonna save it, right? So now if I go to this user's data, authenticated as dude. So I'm gonna edit and give an age of 20 for now, right? Now let me go to the browser at first. I think we all already have a system that can create the post. So now if I go to this post slash create URL, I am redirected to this form field, right? Now what I want to do is I want this form to only be visible if the authenticated user is greater than 18, right? So for that, let me go to our post controller, and inside this create method, I'm gonna say if auth user and age is less than 18, it's gonna redirect to forbidden page, or else if the age is greater than 18 or equals to 18, it will be shown this page, right? So let me go to this browser and let me refresh this page. Since our authenticated user is 20, which is greater than 18, it's giving us this form. Now let me go to our database and let's just edit the age, and let me give an age of 10. Now if I refresh this page, it's is redirecting us to this forbidden page. Now just let's quickly create a view for this forbidden page. So I'm gonna do route slash forbidden uh if we have this forbidden in the URL, I'm gonna show this forbidden page. So I'm gonna just quickly create a new plate file that would be forbidden. I'm just gonna do something like this, right? So now if I refresh this page, whoops, it should work, right? Forbidden, oops, the URL is wrong up here, so it should be forbidden. Now if I go to this post slash create URL, it should return to this forbidden page, right? This looks good. Now the problem here is I have to do this same thing inside this, right? And if there was a delete function, I should have the same logic inside this delete method too. Now we have a better alternative to do this, and that is by having the middleware, right? Now I'm gonna just leave this as it is, and for now it's uh, for now if I go to this post slash create, it's showing us this form, right? Now what we are going to do is we want to achieve the same functionality but using middleware, right? Now for that I'm gonna have to create a middleware, and let me just give the name for the middleware, let's say post middleware, right? Now if I go to this middleware, now this middleware is actually inside this http middleware and post middleware, right? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place the logic up here. If alt user age is less than 18, I'm gonna redirect to forbidden page, right? This is the logic. Now I'm gonna have to register this middleware inside, it should be somewhere kernel.php, right? All right. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add this middleware up here inside this middleware alias. That would be is. I'm just gonna give the name of our middleware as is, and then I'm gonna give the path for that middleware, that is post middleware, right? Now we have registered the middleware up here. Now if I go to our documentation in Laravel, it says now we can assign this middleware in the route with this middleware. So I'm gonna copy the middleware, go to our route file. We want to have that middleware up here. I think I can just give the name for this middleware. Now let me refresh this page. It's working, right? So what it does is, um, for this route, before inserting inside this, before we move to this create function, this piece of code gets run, right? And then it says if thought user is less than 18, let's redirect to this page. So that's what it happened, right? Now when we go to our post slash create, it went to this middleware before this controller function, and then this middleware redirect us to our forbidden page, right? So now we had to replicate the law. We had to repeat the logic in our previous cases. Now what we can do is we can also add this middleware for this store method, right? Oops. Now we don't have to apply the same logic in both create and store function. Rather, we have the logic in the middleware, and then we can assign the middleware to these both routes. Now, since we are having the both middleware for the two routes, we can also have middleware as a group. So now let's just go into our documentation, and I'm gonna look at yes, this is the piece of code that we want. And then what we can do is we can actually have the middleware inside this group. So I'm gonna give the name is because that's what the name of our middleware is. And then I'm gonna place these routes inside this middleware group, and I'm gonna remove the middleware for now. Now this middleware works for both of these routes, right? So now let's try it out in our browser, and let me go to post/create. It's returning the forbidden paste. Now let me just edit the user and give an age of, for example, 20. We should be able to see this form, right? So this is what the middleware is in Laravel.